different. I'm going to introduce this tool. This tool is called an adjective wheel. Sorry, it's hard to see, but adjective wheel. So I'm going to use this to show you how you can level up your adjectives. So when I say level up adjectives, I mean stop using just like basic adjectives like happy or sad or surprised and move to more descriptive words. So this is going to be our lesson focus for today. As you join, please send a message in the chat. Please like the video and share the video so other people can find it and check out the lesson. I see YouTube is up. Hello everybody on YouTube. I see lots of people in the chat. Welcome. And then Facebook I think is coming up. Hi everybody on Facebook too. Great. And we don't have Instagram today. No worries. All right. So we're going to give people about 2 minutes to join today's lesson. So while we wait, a quick update. I shared this last week actually. I shared this on Twitter and it's on the English class YouTube channel now. But we do have a new sort of prototype, a new video we're testing. So if you have not seen this yet, please check this out. It is on the YouTube channel. And there's a little screenshot right here you can see, but you can actually start participating in some of our videos maybe. So we're trying this out. So please check out this video, and if you like, you can send us a video response to something too. So please check that out. This is on the YouTube channel. If you're watching on Facebook and you don't know our YouTube channel, it's English Class 101. Okay, great. So if you're just joining us today, we're talking about how to level up your adjective use in English, how to improve your adjective use in English. So I don't have a clock. It's about 3 minutes in. Okay, we'll start in about a minute, I think. Great, I see lots of people in the chat now. Someone is new. Mong is new. Hi, Mong, welcome. In YouTube chat, Gibson and Alm and David and Kitnichnia. I'm very sorry if I mispronounced your name. Anyway, we have lots of people from around the world, it looks like, who are watching. So I'm going to begin today's lesson. Okay, so I started the lesson, I explained, I'll slow down now. I explained that today's lesson, if you have joined our lessons in the past, today's lesson looks a little bit different. I'm going to use this adjective wheel. So this is called an adjective wheel. Sorry, it's in a bright spot on the board. Adjective wheel. So wheel is this round thing. So I'm going to use this to, introduce some new vocabulary words, some new adjectives that you can use. The adjectives for today's lesson will be like emotion-related adjectives, and there'll be like taste or like smell-related adjectives, and then we'll talk about some different ways to use them. Also, before I begin the main content, I want to point out this thing over here. Many students ask about the difference between adjectives that end in ed and adjectives that end in ing. So shocked, for example, shocked is an ed adjective. Thanks. Shocked is an ed adjective. And then there's shocking. That's an ing ending adjective. So please remember, ed adjectives that end in that ed, like shocked, for example, those are for your emotions. Those are things that you feel, like as a person, like that's your emotion. Those ing adjectives are for things that are outside you. So like that movie was shocking, the news was shocking. So please try to remember this. Many of the adjectives I'm going to talk about today are actually, we can use both forms, an ed form and an ing form. So please keep this point in mind. I will remind you again a little bit later. Okay, so with that said, let's get to our first part of today's lesson. So I said that this is called an adjective wheel. So I'm going to introduce, if you imagine like a pie kind of, I'll introduce parts of it at one time and we'll talk about the adjectives. So let's begin with this part right here. So what is this thing? How do we use it? These parts in red at the center here, These are our basic adjectives. These are the super basic ones that I think many of you already know. So today I've chosen good, surprised, sad, angry, scary, and beautiful. So these are just like basic adjectives that we use a lot. Then this next layer after that is sort of like the medium level, the intermediate level adjective. But there are different types of these emotions. So we'll talk about some different sort of feelings that relate to this original emotion. Then, which we'll see a little bit later, this outside area is like kind of these super deep, I guess, ways to express like a more specific emotion or a more specific feeling. So let's try it out. So let's begin with surprised here. So surprised is the base adjective. Then from surprised, I've chosen two for today. So amazed, or we can use this ing form, amazing, for something that's outside of you. I've also chosen shocked. So shocked, again, this has this ed ending. So that's for your emotions. I'm shocked. Something outside you is shocking. So I'll mark these ones with these ing endings. So amazed, we use amazed for something that's a happy surprise. So like you passed a test you weren't imagining you would pass. I'm amazed I passed the test. So shock, on the other hand, is like kind of a negative surprise. So like we were shocked to hear of the robbery, for example. So that's something that like you were surprised and it's a negative feeling. So shock is a great way to express that. I was shocked. For something outside you, it was shocking. So again, remember that ed ending. Great, yeah, someone wrote I was shocked or the movie was shocking. Good. And then amazed is like a happier, more positive way to express your surprise. Nice, that's perfect, thank you. Okay, so let's go a bit deeper into these two then. Let's start with amazed then here. So this word, it's hard to see. Sorry, my writing is really bad. I'll write it again. This word here, under amazed. So I have two words that are under amazed. One is thrilled. Thrilled. So this is a TH sound at the beginning of the word. If you saw last week's lesson about pronunciation, this is a great one for you to practice. Thrilled. Thrilled. Thrilled is like you're really excited and surprised about something. So thrilled is a positive word. So for example, like he's thrilled to be part of the project. I'm thrilled to have a chance to do this. So it's a very happy, surprised, amazed word. The other one over here, humbled, humbled. So humbled expresses that surprise, yes, but it also expresses gratitude. So if you feel appreciative, you want to say thank you to someone. You could say, for example, like, I'm humbled to receive this award, for example, or I'm humbled to participate in this project. So these two are kind of deeper ways to express a positive sort of surprise. Then let's go to sort of the opposite then. We talked about how shock, I'm shocked, that's shocking, is used to describe something that's like kind of negative, a negative sort of surprise. So down here, again, I divided shock into two feelings. So here I have alarmed, alarmed, and concerned, concerned. So here, maybe you can see already, this alarmed has this alarm root to it, yeah? So alarm is like when there's a problem, there's some warning that like we need to tell people about. I'm alarmed. So we use alarmed for things that's like we're maybe worried about something dangerous happening. So like I'm alarmed at the amount of violence in the news these days, for example. Again, with this word we can use the ing form, alarming. Alarming, like, oh, that news was alarming. We can do that with this one too. Then this other one, concern. Concerned, I'm concerned, or that's concerning. This word is more for something you're worried about. So you're surprised, shocked, and maybe you're worried. Not like danger worried, but worried about what's going to happen. So it's like, you know, I'm concerned about your grades, for example. That means like I'm worried about your grades. I don't think they're good. We can use the ing form here too. Concerning. That's concerning news, for example. Okay, so this is how we use an adjective wheel. So we're dividing up one basic adjective into deeper and deeper adjectives. So this will be the structure for today's lesson. So I made this. You can make your own too if you like. Okay, let's continue on. If you have any questions, please do send them in the chat. I will try to watch the chat in this lesson. Okay, let's move along then to the next adjective. So the next one I want to look at is sad. The next adjective will be sad. So sad is our base adjective. I broke it into two feelings, lonely and disappointed. Lonely and disappointed. So disappointed, we can use this with an ing form, disappointed or disappointing. So this one, we have some kind of expectation, and the expectation, the thing we thought was going to happen, did not happen. So I'm disappointed, that's disappointing. Lonely, we don't use lonely, we can only use lonely. It refers to our like a human emotion. So lonely is used to talk about like when you want to meet people or you haven't seen your friends for a long time, for example, lonely. So let's take a look at the adjectives inside lonely first. We can see them. So I'll start up here. The first one up here, we'll zoom in just a second, no worries. So the first one here is isolated. Isolated. So isolated, isolate refers to just being one of something, like there's only you. So I feel isolated. We use isolated, or the ing form isolating, when we are alone. So we are cut off from our coworkers or cut off from our friends, for example. I feel so isolated these days. Okay, so isolated. I'm I haven't seen my friends. I'm so isolated. Like I have so much work to do. Okay. Then the other one here I have is heartbroken. Heartbroken. I included under lonely. We use heartbroken, or we can use heartbreaking as well, ing, heartbreaking, when we lose someone we care about. So this can mean ending a romantic relationship. It can mean like a loved one, a member of your family or your friends, a friend of yours has passed away, has died. So heartbroken, or something is heartbreaking, like the movie was heartbreaking, we can say. It causes that feeling of loss, of losing someone we care about. So isolated, very alone, and heartbreaking, losing someone we care about. Okay, so let's go on to the other adjective for this group, disappointed. So I broke disappointed into two adjectives here. The first one is miserable. Miserable. So miserable refers to being in a state of just like suffering or discomfort or distress or unhappiness. Like, for example, he hasn't had a day off in 2 weeks. He's miserable. Miserable. Okay. It's just miserable. So we can't use miserabling. We have to use miserable. There's no ing form here. Miserable. Then this one, unsatisfied. Unsatisfied. I've talked about prefixes on this channel before. Here we see one. So here the prefix un means not. Unsatisfied. Unsatisfied. So not satisfied. So when you're disappointed and it's because something did not satisfy you, something was not as good as you thought it would be, you can say, I'm unsatisfied. Like, I'm unsatisfied with my hotel experience or my stay. I was not satisfied with my stay. I was unsatisfied. We can use this in the ing form, unsatisfying. My stay was unsatisfying. Okay, good. So this is how we use an adjective wheel. So I'll introduce a couple more sections later in the lesson. For now, let's take a quick break. Ta-da. Okay, so for today, the focus is on adjectives, when you need to use them to express your emotions. So a couple of situations where it's really useful to have a big adjective-related vocabulary are, over here, when you are dating and when you are shopping. So especially when you're shopping with a friend, like when you want to describe how something looks. So like, sorry. So like over here, for example, when you say, can I try it on? Or do you have this in a bigger size? You might say something like, it's not the right fit, or like, I want something that's a little more extravagant. I don't know, depends on what you want to do. But these are examples of situations, where your adjective use could be important. Here's a great one. This is from the dating or the romance and love PDF. This says you're smart, or you have beautiful eyes, for example. You're stylish. So we talked about amazing over here, actually. So these are examples of situations where having a good adjective vocabulary is important. All right, so these are free. You can find these from the link below the video on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, or above the video on Facebook. So please check that out. They are free if you have an account on our website. If you don't have an account, you can you can make an account right away. Okay, so with that, let's continue back to our lesson. Today's lesson, if you missed it, is leveling up your adjectives. Today I'm using an adjective wheel to do this. So we've talked about one part of the wheel so far. So let's move on to the next two adjectives now that we know how to use it, and try to check it out. Anderson, kind person or good person? I will talk about that right here later. I'll talk about that later. I don't see any questions yet, but great. Okay, so let's go on to the next part. Next, I want to move on to these two. The base adjectives are angry and scary. These are the next two. So let's take a look at angry. Angry. So I broke angry into two parts. The two parts for angry are irritated. Irritated is the pronunciation. Irritated, and furious. Furious. So irritated can take the ing ending. That's irritating. My brother's so irritating, or this movie was so irritating. Something that bothers you. So irritated, when I describe my emotions as irritated, it's like something is repetitive often. Something is repetitive and it's disturbing me in some way. So I feel irritated, like my computer keeps giving me the same error. I'm so irritated, for example. So inside irritated, I included two words. This one's kind of a higher level one. Maybe lots of you don't know this one. This one, let's look at frustrated first though. Frustrated. Frustrated can take an ing ending, frustrating. That's so frustrating, or I'm frustrated. We use frustrated when we try to do something many times and we keep failing at that thing. So it's like I can't fix the printer. I'm so frustrated, for example. So you try to do something many times and you can't do it. We use frustrated to express that feeling. Or that's so frustrating, for example. Okay, so a similar word, exasperated. Exasperated. It's hard to see. This is E-X-A, E-X-A-S, exasperated, exasperated. This word also takes an ing ending, so that's exasperating. I feel exasperated. This word is one we use when, for example, we give someone an instruction, or we give a group of people instructions, and they don't follow the instructions, and you keep trying and trying and trying, but they don't follow the instructions. So you can say, oh, I'm so exasperated, or this situation is exasperating. So frustrated and exasperated are quite similar, but I think exasperated is kind of a higher level, much more advanced vocabulary word than frustrated. Okay, let's continue on to, someone said she forgot to talk about annoy. I did not forget to talk about annoy, I just chose not to. There's a difference. Annoyed would probably be right here, annoyed and irritated. We use annoyed and irritated in the same way. So we can use annoying as well, but I chose not to focus on it for this lesson. Okay, so let's continue on to the next adjective. If you have other ones, you can send them along. Let's go on to the next adjective, which is furious. So irritated described some kind of like feeling of a repeating thing that really bothered you. So furious is a different kind of angry. Furious is where like your face turns red or you like shout or something like that. So furious is really like negative and maybe kind of scary. So furious, he's furious. So like we broke the camera, my boss was furious, for example. I hope that doesn't happen. Okay, so furious. Let's look then at these two words, inside furious, inside furious. Sorry, I get all antsy when I'm close up. The first one here, actually these are both really good words, I think. I'm gonna be tall, okay. So the first one is offended, offended. This one does not have an ing form, like, well it does, we can say offending, but to use it as an adjective, we say offensive. That's offensive. Offensive, something that's offensive, something that causes me to feel offended. So, this offended describes an angry feeling because of something that's inappropriate. So, depending on the person, they feel offended about different things. I'm offended, that's offensive. So for example, don't use curse words in the office. It's offensive, for example. So someone has inappropriate behavior. That's offensive, offensive. Okay. Then let's go to the other one here. This one is great. The word is livid, livid. Another great pronunciation point, livid. Livid is super angry. So like livid, if you imagine like red in the face, screaming, shouting, maybe throwing things, like it's dangerous level angry. Like my boss was livid or my parents were livid. I crashed the car. So there's someone who is just super, super angry. We can use livid to describe that, livid. All right, good. So that's the next part of the adjective wheel I want to talk about. Let's see, we have 7 minutes left. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'll go on to, I guess, one more bit and then take a break and then finish. Or should I take a break now? My choice. All right, so I'll do a short break in case you missed it. I talked about free stuff. I talked about free stuff that we have this week once already. I'll show you a different one, a different situation where adjective use is important. It is when you are eating. I'm going to move on now to some adjectives we can use when eating. Someone asked about the adjective good, for example. So when you make a request in a restaurant, this is the dining. So dining, this means visiting restaurants, for example. So this one has some phrases you can use to talk about food. So being able to describe your favorite or your least favorite flavors is important. So here, it lacks salt. We'll talk about an adjective about salt later. Or it looks tasty, for example. So this is another situation where having some good adjective-related knowledge is important. This is free from the link below the video on YouTube and above the video on Facebook. Let's go on to the last part of today's lesson. Okay, we'll go to the last 3 parts because I'm running out of time. Today's lesson is about leveling up your English adjectives. So we're using an adjective wheel to do that today. All right, let's go on then to the next adjective. Oh, I did something very interesting here. Oh, I see what I did. I left out an adjective. Oh no, I just realized. Okay, I have to quickly make my thing a little bit different. I realized I left out an adjective, but I don't have time to talk about it. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I'm just gonna make this a big space. Beautiful. We'll talk about beautiful now. Totally. I'm good at drawing circles. Okay, let's go on to the next one. We'll go to beautiful and good to end the lesson then. Okay, so beautiful is my base adjective for this section here. So I broke beautiful into two categories. This is one some of you sent me questions about, like on Ask Alicia. So I broke beautiful into two. The first one is gorgeous, gorgeous. The other one is cute, cute. So let's start with cute here. I think lots of people know about cute. So cute. Cute is used for like children or things that seem kind of nice, a little bit childish. They're kind of harmless, mild little things. So cute. So like, for example, what a cute puppy, or like this design is so cute, for example. It's so cute. Then I have two adjectives in the in between here. I chose charming and adorable as kind of the deeper adjectives for cute. So adorable is used to describe like very young kids or things that are related to very young kids. So it's like super cute. If you want a better word than very cute or super cute, you should use adorable. So like, oh, this picture is adorable, like of your children, for example. Or, oh, this design, it's adorable. So something very childlike. So adorable. Charming, on the other hand, is like cute, but it's good to use for like adults. So it's something that's cute and like pleasant, but not necessarily childlike. So for example, a charming cafe, or like a charming conversation, perhaps. So these are things that aren't necessarily childish, but they're kind of sweet and nice and like maybe easy to understand. Something that is charming. Okay, good. Then let's go on to the other part for this one, gorgeous. So let's contrast. So cute, adorable, and charming with gorgeous. So gorgeous, I talked about beautiful here. Gorgeous is like the leveled up version. Gorgeous doesn't have that feeling of childishness. So cute has that very like childish feeling, that young feeling. Gorgeous is more grown up. So something that's gorgeous, we could say, for example, like the view is gorgeous, or her dress is gorgeous, for example. Something that's a bit more adult. Inside gorgeous then, I chose two adjectives. Let's start here. I chose stunning, and exquisite, exquisite. So let's start with stunning. So stunning, we can use this in the ED form as well. I was stunned. So to stun, the root here is stun. So to stun means like to cause someone to stop moving, or to stop talking, or to stop breathing. Like they're so like excited, or it's so much. So something that is stunning causes you to stop what you're doing. So like, oh, the view was stunning, or the cake was stunning. It was amazing. So something that's just really, really like you can't speak. It's so exciting. It's so beautiful. You can say it's stunning. It's stunning. Okay. Then the final one here is exquisite. Exquisite. Exquisite is not as commonly used as perhaps some of these other ones. Exquisite we use to talk about oftentimes kind of expensive things. So maybe jewelry or decorations in someone's house. Or we might use it to talk about something that's very detailed, like her necklace was exquisite, or the chandelier was exquisite, for example. Exquisite. So it's gorgeous and very detailed, maybe very expensive. Exquisite. Okay, great. Then let's continue on to the last one, because we're out of time. So it was actually a good thing that I made a mistake. So let's go on to the last adjective. So that was beautiful. And you'll notice too, these, I did not mention, most of these have ing and ed forms. Stunning, we can use both forms. Charmed is a word, but we don't use it as often, actually. So let's move on to the last piece of today's adjective pie, which is good. Good. Someone asked a question about this in the chat about the word good. So good is an extremely useful adjective, but it's really boring if you use good, good, good all the time. Like this food is good, or like, oh, the movie was good. It's like, give some more information. So let's look at these two. I chose an emotion and a taste or a flavor related word. So from good, if you want to talk about people, like my neighbor is a really good person, for example. If you want to talk about people, you could use a word like kind, or perhaps nice as well would go here. So someone is kind, like they're very warm, they're inviting, they make a comfortable space for you. You feel like relaxed or at ease around that person. They're kind, someone who is kind. Inside kind then, I've chosen two more adjectives. I've chosen first generous is one, generous, and I chose thoughtful, thoughtful. So let's look at generous first. Someone who is generous is very giving. So someone who's generous, maybe they give money to others, or they feed others in their community, or they just give people gifts. Someone who is generous gives a lot of things. Someone who is thoughtful then thinks about others a lot. So they think about the feelings of others, or maybe my coworker bought me a souvenir. How thoughtful, for example. Or, oh wow, you made my favorite thing for dinner. How thoughtful of you. So when you're thinking of another person's needs or wants, that's someone we can describe as thoughtful. Okay, then last part for today's lesson. This is a couple examples of adjectives you can use to talk about food or drink. If you watched our live stream last year, we talked about other food and drink words, so you can check that for some more adjectives. So, delicious, delicious. Actually, this is not a word that we use a lot, to be quite honest. We don't say it's delicious. You can, it's not wrong. But we might use a more specific word when we're talking about food or drink. So here are two examples, rich and savory. Rich and savory. Rich is something that has a strong flavor and that's kind of like fatty, and it's usually used in desserts actually. So for example, chocolate cake is really rich. So it's like the flavor is kind of like, it's like a deep flavor and there's some sweetness to it. Or like pudding is really rich, for example. Then opposite that is a word like savory, savory. So savory is something that has, again, a deep flavor but is salty. So for example, roast meats are savory, or maybe a barbecue sauce is savory. So something that has a salty flavor to it. We can use words like these. And then we don't have ed or ing endings for these because these are related to foods, not emotions. Okay, so that is a quick introduction, I hope, to a few new adjectives maybe. But if you are trying to level up your adjectives, you could try to make something like this for yourself. Also, if you want to see more examples, just Google adjective wheel. Seriously, like there are lots and lots of examples of adjective wheels for emotions and for tastes and for smells. So please take a look at this if you want some more information. Just Google around. So this is one, I made this one. You can try making your own, or just think about this sort of base level adjective and the next level, and then kind of a deeper way to express yourself. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I saw only a few questions and lots of example sentences, so thanks very much for that, guys. But we have to finish up for today, so I will end there. But next week, we will be back with a new lesson, as always. Next week's lesson, I'm going to talk about date phrases. So I've made kind of into like a date flow, I guess. So it's like how to invite someone on a date, what to say, a couple expressions, on the date and then after the date too. So next week will be about dating related expressions. And in general, just like invitation related expressions too. Yeah. So that will be next week. Next week, September 5th. Oh my gosh, it's already September. It's going so fast. September 5th. This will be Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is New York City time. New York City time. If you don't know what that is in your time zone, please Google it. Use your Google skills. So we will be back next week with date phrases. Also, please don't forget to go download your free stuff. These are just a few examples. There are lots of other things that we have too, all for free. So please check the link below the video on YouTube, above the video on Facebook to get that stuff. I will see you again next week. Thank you very much for liking and sharing the video. We always really appreciate it. Thank you for your questions and your example sentences in the chat. And I will see you next week. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.